Hello everybody, my name is William. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Today we're going to be doing another FSEconomy flight in the Cessna 208 Grand Caravan. Departing from Prince Rupert, we'll be flying up to Stewart Airport, one I'm actually pretty excited to go see. So hopefully you guys enjoy the flight. If you do, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe if you want to see more content as always. Let's go ahead and get on into the planning so we can get on out of here. Hope you all enjoy. Alright, so our aircraft is on the ground at Prince Rupert here. We have 100 gallons of fuel on board, once again, of Jet A. We have 6 jobs taking us up to Stewart today. It's 100 nautical miles, almost directly towards the northwest. We're carrying 4 sets of parts for some beavers and otters up there. That sounds like an awesome plane. I really hope that those get added to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 before too long. But that's going to carry us on up to Stewart with 2 passengers going as well. Stewart does have Jet A available on site, just something to always kind of check out and make sure of. And this is what our flight looks like here on SkyVector. So this would be a straight path. That's probably not what we're going to do. We're probably going to drop into this canal here. That's kind of right along the Canada-US border with Alaska over here on the left side and Canada over here on the right. I think this is the Portland Canal. It should say, yeah, Portland Canal. And we're probably going to follow this on up through, as it does look like there should be an overcast layer basically above us the entire way there. But following that canal should give us a little bit of safety on the trip up. So that's the plan for the flight. Let's go ahead and get on into the aircraft so we can get on out of here. I hope you all enjoy. Welcome on board the 208, everybody. You can see our FSEconomy client is open. It is on the ground and available at Prince Rupert, so we'll go ahead and start the flight, make sure everything gets loaded up. We got all those nice jobs loaded in there, so we can go ahead and hide the client now, get it out of the way, get on to business and starting the plane up. So just going through, making sure everything's closed down. Let's get our fuel tanks open. So they are open. I'll come down now, put the prop to full, get the battery on, beacon on, and avionics on as well. Just sit here for a moment. Let's go ahead and press that key so we can see what's going on. And we're clear of basically everything around us here, so we can go ahead and start the engine up. So let's make sure ignition's on. It is, and we'll go fuel boost to on, and let's hit that starter. Make sure the prop is spinning. Yes, it is indeed. We've got oil pressure climbing.
System test. Okay.
Get that oil pressure out of the red there, and we'll go condition lever to low. Get the power up there. We make sure we got our parking brake set. A little bit late, but we do indeed have it set. Just watch this now. ITT's climbing. Oil pressure's now in the green. Just wait a moment here and we'll click the starter off. There we go, starter off. Everything looks like it's good, everything's in the green there. We'll pull the power setting all the way back now, leave the conditioner lever in low idle for the moment. We'll go ahead and get pitot heat and stall heat on. And let's get our fuel boost set back to normal. So we have Stewart punched in on the GPS. See the map is nice and zoomed in here on us at Prince Rupert. Our wind looks calm. It's only 1 knot. Basically, I think we're going to use runway 13 for departure out of here, just because we don't want to necessarily back taxi all the way down the runway. But I think we're pretty well set up to go ahead and start our taxi. Let's just set our altitude bug. I think once again we'll try for 4,500. I know we did that on the way into Prince Rupert, but we'll try for 4,500. We'll just set a couple of these things up, 1,000 foot a minute, plugged in on the vertical speed there, and we'll set a heading of let's see, yeah, we could go ahead and actually match that. We'll set a heading of 130 and arm the heading mode as well. So let's go ahead and get on with our taxi. We'll just make a right turn, kind of loop the plane back around, and go up to this taxiway to take runway 13. So let's get our taxi light on and disengage our parking brake. Let's loop this thing back around to the right. Use a bit of toe brake here to keep the turn nice and tight. Alright, so we're on our way now on over. We're just gonna go up to this taxiway, like I said, hold short of the runway. Getting out of here nice and quick. We'll make our way up to Stewart. Still a bit overcast here, but flying into cool airports is cool. It doesn't really matter what the weather's like necessarily. It's just nice to be able to see sometimes. But so we're coming up here, we're gonna hold short of the runway, go through, make sure we got everything set up the way we want before we depart. But we'll go ahead and hold short. We'll stand on our brakes here. Okay, so let's put the condition lever fully forward, get our takeoff flaps out. We'll go transponder on, strobe lights on, landing lights on, taxi light off. We'll go ahead and zoom our map out a little bit. Kind of help us out. Alright, so we are ready for departure. We'll rotate at 70 as always here in the Caravan and climb out right around 110. Looks like it is clear to the left and right, so let's go ahead and take the runway. Wind is actually showing no data now, so it is definitely nice and calm. Lined up on the runway. Let's get that power in. Airspeed is alive. We're looking for 70 knots. It's holding center line. There's 60. There's 70. Rotate. We have a positive rate. Just keep that airspeed building up. And let's go ahead and get our flaps in, and we'll pitch now for 10 degrees. Add some trim. Holding right around runway heading. Now then we'll kind of drop the nose just slightly. We're at about 500 feet, so we could start our turn. I think we'll go off to the right just to kind of help with the terrain, so let's bring the plane around to the right. Let's try and hold about 10 degrees nose up. Climbing through 1,300 feet. We're going for 4,500. I think the clouds should be lifting as we kind of continue on up towards Stewart, hopefully. So we'll fly a heading of a 310, kind of do a bit of a pattern on out of here, and just continue climbing up above it. So getting up above 110 knots here, holding up right around 1,000 foot a minute climb. It's just perfect. 115. I'm not going to be upset by going just a little bit faster. Don't have very high to climb. It said the clouds were overcast around with a base layer around 6,000 feet at Prince Rupert on SkyVector anyways, so we'll see how accurate that is. Hopefully that means we should be able to get up to 4,500 without encountering them at all. Continue off on heading 310 and just see a little bit of the airport there behind us. We're almost at 2,500 feet now. Kind of increase this climb a little bit more. Now we should be clear of the airport environment. We can go ahead and turn to the right a little bit more. I think our plan is going to be to kind of fly along the coast here and work our way up towards Portland Canal. And basically just fly that all the way up to Stewart anyways. We want to try and get up to 4,500 just to make sure that altitude is going to work for us. Feet to go. Got on top of the airspeed a little bit more. We're just a little bit faster than 110. That's just fine. Aircraft's trimmed out decently well for the climb, so let's go ahead and get our landing lights off so I can take my hand off the controls and not worry about it too much. Go ahead and sync our heading to our current heading just in case we have to click that autopilot on. Set it to 350. I don't know about you, but it kind of looks like we're getting really close to this cloud layer. And we're just at 4,200 feet, so overcast 6,000. Maybe not so much. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to pull this off. We're going to have to fly through that cloud right in front of us if we continue on this. So let's go down. Once again, getting forced a little bit lower by the clouds. But hopefully it will kind of clear up as we continue off towards the north. That's what it looked like the weather should be doing anyways. So we'll go on down to 4,000. Yeah, we would have went busted right on through that. Let's make sure we're not building up any ice on the windshield or anything. It looks like it's okay so far. We can still see through everything we're kind of going through as well, so it's nice. We didn't quite get into that overcast layer. It just looks like it definitely is lower than kind of what it was reported at. So we'll go ahead and reset our altitude selector there to 4,000 feet. And since it's kind of engaged, and you can see there it still says 4,500 feet. Excuse me, it's at 4,500 feet because it was in a capture mode. So we're going to have to hit altitude and altitude again. Actually, now it's just going to capture on 4,100. So we'll just turn it off completely. And to kind of clear everything, just hit the flight director and clear it all. The bug is set on 4,000. As long as everything's cleared like that, that's what really matters. Our heading's set in at 350. This is kind of what we're going to fly, like I said, up until we get to the canal. And then we'll follow it along on the way into Stewart. You can see all the mountains kind of off towards our right, getting obscured by the clouds. Some more kind of distant mountains over there off towards our left as well. And about 90 miles to go on the way to Stewart. Alright, so we're working our way up to the canal here. You can kind of see on the map, we're going to make a right onto this waterway, and then it'll fork kind of in three directions. We can either go straight, left, or right. We're going to want to take the left, which should be the first option, and fly off up the canal. You can also see we're getting forced a little bit lower by the cloud cover. It does make sense. I was looking just a second ago. And we had the option to basically do a flight into Annette Island, which is right there on the map, and Ketchikan is right there as well. Ketchikan's reporting weather, and they're overcast around 4,000 feet. So it looks like the further out to the west we go, the lower the cloud cover is, but the further up to the north we go, it should get a little bit higher for us at least. So we're working our way up towards the canal now. We did have to kind of leave 4,000 there for a moment, and yeah, we can see we're going to be heading back inland a little bit more. You can see all the mountains around us as we're flying through. We are at least flying east now, so I guess technically we could go on a 3,500 on the altitude, and that's not too bad anyways, so we'll go ahead and do that. We just got to work our way up now to the actual canal, which should fork off to the left here before too long, and then follow that all the way up to Stewart. Alright, well, we can see our three choices in front of us here. Thankfully, I have a GPS with a map, and I don't have to guess, because that would be quite interesting. But we could either go straight, go right, or go to the left. Like I said, the left is the first option. So we'll go ahead and turn and just go ahead and take that path now. And also see here, we're going to be flying right along the border of Canada here and Alaska. That's kind of what that orangish line is, following this canal all the way up. So we'll probably be crossing over back and forth almost the entire trip here. Very beautiful scenery. Kind of wish we could see a little bit more, but these clouds have kept it interesting for sure. I think we're pretty well settled at 3,500. Any higher and we seem to kind of get into the clouds, and there's actually been a couple occasions just as we've gone up this inlet here to where the clouds have kind of hung down a little bit. Fortunately, we've been able to see through them, so we knew it wasn't just that much lower. We can kind of see off in the distance. Our visibility underneath the clouds is fantastic. It's just they're pretty low. They're gonna kind of keep us honest here, flying the valley for sure. So we've got about, it looks like 60 miles now to Stewart. We're doing about 162 knots across the ground, and it's estimating about 22 minutes if we were going exactly direct, which we will not be. So a little bit more time on the flight today. But with this scenery, I'm not going to complain. Just checking in for a moment. We're about to turn off more towards the northwest. I thought we could maybe get away with climbing up a little bit higher, but you can kind of see up the valley there. It looks like the clouds do get a little bit higher as we kind of go that direction. But where we are right now, I think they're just around 4,000 feet still, so we're kind of stuck where we are. But look at these mountains, especially like this one right in front of us. Looks fantastic. Enjoying flying the canal for sure. You see some of the clouds over there off towards our right. Some of that weather looks really gnarly. It's just cool to see the variance flying with live weather for sure. Whenever it's a bit of a rough day up here for a flight. Definitely could be worse, don't get me wrong, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. So enjoying it nevertheless. We have just under 40 miles now. We just crossed under 40 miles to Stewart, and we're showing 14 minutes if we are direct. And I think actually at this point we are going to be a little bit more direct on course. Really kind of, our altitude's ballooning there as we're going over a little bit of terrain. We'll try and take a look at the map here so you can kind of see. We basically fly this kind of like northwest heading, and then just kind of cut back to the right just a little bit right before Stewart. So it's actually, since I've already climbed 200 feet because I wasn't staying on top of the aircraft, we're just kind of checking this out real quick. Let's see if we could get away with 4,000 feet. Go ahead and put that back in the bug there and climb on up. Just 200 feet to go. I think 4,000 feet will work. And it does look like it's elevating a little bit more and more as we continue down the canal here, which is really good. So yeah, 4,000 feet, we will be just fine. I don't think I want to try 4,500, but yeah, we could just see it right around the top of that mountain there. We'd probably be scraping right below it at 4,500 feet, so we'll hold this here, continue on down the canal, trying to cross over the border as many times as I can, just snaking left and right, and we'll be on into Stewart before we know it. 35 miles now. Coming around the corner here in the canal, we're not too far from the turn back up, almost directly to the airport, but you can see how much the weather's lifted in just a couple miles, really. And also just look at the sun coming through the clouds there, lighting up on the mountains. I just wanted to kind of share this with you guys. Not really anything too crazy going on in the flight, but we can actually see right there, that is the first blue sky we've seen since I think the flight before last, actually. So look at that sun coming through, absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, this weather is definitely lifting. You can see the clouds just seem a little bit higher, and there's actually blue sky up above us. It's not so much doom and gloom anymore. And yeah, once again, this sim is beautiful. So we're 22 miles now from Stewart. Not quite going direct to the field. We're getting a little bit of chop here, but everything looks okay. Just kind of looking at some more of these mountains here. So we're getting a little bit closer to the field and not be able to look around quite as much before too long. The wind at Stewart was reported as calm, and we have runway 18 and tree 6. So straight in for us basically will be runway tree 6, and I think that's probably what we'll plan on. Let's see, look at how stormy it kind of looks up there, in all honesty. I mean, it definitely has lifted and kind of cleared up, but it also makes it look a little bit more ominous since we're flying into it and it's kind of sunny right now. So the mountains are getting a little bit higher around us to the east as well. It's kind of stayed about the same off towards our west, but I also know that there's some bigger peaks coming up towards our north. So fortunately, the visibility is still fantastic. We still have relatively smooth air. We had a little bit of chop there, but we're flying really close to the mountains there, so that's to be expected. You see how thick that cloud layer is. You can actually see through it. And then the sunlight peeking through in some of these other places. Absolutely breathtaking. So 18 nautical miles now from the field. We're showing about 6 minutes. Should just be up at the tippy top of this canal here. So still holding about 4,000 feet, trying to anyways, looking around a lot. But 4,000 feet, and the field elevation here for Stewart should be almost sea level. I think it's like 24, 25 feet, something like that. So we'll start to descend once we kind of round the corner here and start making our way down. Oh yeah, it's not quite overcast anymore. It looks like it's more of a I mean, it's pretty overcast, but a little bit more of a broken layer for sure around us right now. And you can see the sun peeking through all the way around us now, and then it's kind of more overcast if we start looking a little bit more directly east. "15 nautical miles from the field." Our speed's been really good on the flight too, even though we've been pretty low. With the air being so smooth, been able to keep the ground speed right around 170, which has been nice. That does look really stormy over there towards the northeast, those mountains. Absolutely beautiful. So we're going to make a right-hand turn, and we should be able to hopefully pick up the field before too long as well. Let's start coming on down. Let's see, the field should be up there somewhere. See, right at the top of the canal is where we're going to be looking. So we'll start coming down. Go ahead and put like 1,500 feet in. Make sure we keep our power pulled back, so we can keep our speed up like this, but let's just not redline it. And we'll go ahead and put 360 in the heading. And yeah, this is basically going to be a straight in as long as the airport is kind of right up here. I'm going to zoom the map in. Help us out a little bit. Down there at that water, right on the mountain right there. Gorgeous. I'm glad it kind of cleared up. It was nice. It was getting a little bit too gloomy. It really is beautiful color in the water as well. Alright, so we need to start looking for the field. I think it's inland a little bit. I don't think it's right on the coast. We can kind of see down here. Looks like maybe that could be the runway. Kind of right next to the that yellow arrow by our airspeed. 8.5 miles. Let's go ahead and go landing lights on. Just kind of talk over the airspeeds real quick. Jeez, look at that. Beautiful. Flaps, approach flaps as always in the Caravan, it's 150. Full flaps at 125. Aiming for an approach speed around 80-85 knots today. We will go ahead and use runway 36 unless there is some extremely valid reason not to that becomes evident momentarily, basically. But we've already got that set up, and we should be good for basically a straight in there. See how high these mountains are now around us. This is a beautiful airport. It's cleared up just enough to really kind of be able to enjoy it. Fantastic. So we're about 5.5 miles. Still don't necessarily have the field in sight unless it's right down here. It doesn't really fit with that runway heading though. But that's got to be it. It's got to be right on the coast. I think it's actually right in front of us. I am just blind. If you spotted that before me, please let me know in the comments below that I need glasses, because it is right there. So we are actually on a straight in. We need to go ahead and continue on down, pull the power back. Let's get below 150. Not worried about the airspeed. We have some big old barn doors we're going to drop right now, just below 150. Keep the nose down. Just watch that airspeed shed off. 3 miles, and there's 125. Let's go ahead and go flaps full. So the airfield is right off our nose. We're at 1,000 feet. And we are 3 miles from the field. So we need to come down a little bit more. Take a look at that off to the left. And keep coming on down 2.5 miles now. We're at 80 knots. It is a little bit of a shorter runway, so if we keep it a little closer to 80, it'd be just about perfect. See the runway down there? Kind of helps you out a little bit. This would be an amazing place to visit. Can you imagine living right on the base of that mountain right there? That's just the jealous Oklahoman in me. Any kind of terrain features, I get a little excited. I apologize. 1.5 miles now from the field. We're about 500 feet over the ground. This is doing okay. Maybe a touch high. Airspeed's fine. Let's actually pull the power out just a little bit. We can come down a little bit faster, kind of hold around this airspeed. Lined up well. Aiming right for the numbers there. Let's go ahead and pull the power out. And get on the rudder, hold that center line. And let's get on the brakes so we can kind of slow this thing down. Narrow runway like that. Look at the special scenery over there as well. It got a little construction site going on. Crane. Beautiful valley. It's a great airport. Taxi down. I don't know if there's actually going to be a turnaround down here for us. I don't think so. So we're just going to have to kind of do it on our own. So let's go ahead and stand on the brakes. Slow this thing all the way down. We're going to have to use all the runway width we have available here. The big old Caravan. And just keep it slow, keep a little bit of power in so we keep our momentum up. Perfect. Yeah, had I known, I should have zoomed that map in a little bit earlier. Kind of gotten an idea that there wasn't going to be a turnaround at the end. We would have just swapped it around down here. There's actually some less trees to worry about and everything as well, so would have been smarter. But we're on the ground now at Stewart. I hope you all enjoyed the flight today. That was a lot of fun for me, and it is absolutely gorgeous, so definitely worth it. As always, I enjoy having you guys along. If you did like the video or like the flight, make sure to give the video a like. That's what I meant to say there. And also consider subscribing if you want to see some more content like this, along with some other stuff, hopefully before too long. I enjoy having you all along, being able to share this stuff with you guys. Let's actually taxi on down to the first one. Looks like there's just a hangar there, so we'll taxi on down to the first little exit down here. We'll go ahead and get the transponder on standby, get our taxi light on. We'll leave our strobes and everything else on for the moment. This may have been a mistake. But we'll make it work. Alright, so we're taxiing off into basically a dead end. But we'll put the plane in here, and we'll let the ground crew sort it out after we're done unloading everything. Nice and slow. We'll just come in here and get stopped Alright, so we'll go ahead and set the parking brake. And let's pull up the FSEconomy client so you can see here. Flight's still going, and now it is complete. Aircraft is on the ground and available at Stewart. So we have completed our flight. Go ahead and get our landing light off, stop blind, and the ground crew here, get our taxi light off as well. Strobe light off. Our parking brake is set. All of our anti-ice, pitot heat, all that stuff is off. So now just shutting the aircraft down. We'll go fuel boost off. We'll go ahead and go the conditioner lever to cut off. We'll pull the prop all the way back, get the beacon off. And let's see now, avionics off. Thank you very much, Microsoft. And battery off now as well. So that is us parked and shut down here on the ramp at Stewart. Like I said, I hope you all did enjoy the flight. I had a ton of fun doing this one today. So as always, like the video, subscribe if you want to see more. But until next time, I'll catch y'all later. Bye-bye.